how you're not safe anymore, you should do something about it. And this is a general idea that self-defense is your responsibility, taking care of yourself, taking care of your family. Between the time you call for help or you realize you need help and help comes, if it does come, at that time, you're responsible for your own self-defense. So I wanted to talk about some ideas, some techniques, some principles of self-defense that you can implement to immediately make yourself safer as the world around us starts to get more dangerous. And you aren't safe anymore depending on where you live. If you have to take the subway in New York City, if you live in certain neighborhoods all around the world, not just in this country, but all around the world, you are not as safe as you used to be even 3 to 4 years ago. The world is definitely changing in certain places. And that danger can come from all different areas. I wanted to talk about physical self-defense. And so the first thing I'm going to talk about is situational awareness. So paying attention to what's happening around you. I was driving home today and there was a roadside sign and it was flashing, "Get off your phone, get off your phone." And I laughed because it's something that I say all the time in my job. I watch people drive by and I've got all these little kids. I'm responsible for their safety. We might be out on the soccer field. There's a little road that goes between the soccer field and the school. And you would be shocked at how many parents come around that corner a little too fast and they're driving like this. And they look up and they see me, they see the kids, and they immediately go back to driving like this. It doesn't even occur to them to get off their phone. So staying off your phone for driving on the road to be safe, that's common sense, but we don't always follow it. But when it comes to your safety, because you're not safe as you used to be, and you need to do something about it, the first thing is change your perspective, change your posture, go to a posture of self-defense, pay attention to what's happening around you, and stay off the phone. Either stick the phone in the pocket, stick the phone in a bag, but don't be on the phone. Being on the phone now, especially if you're in certain parts of the world, and there are a lot of criminals around who are looking for people who are actively using their phone, they want to take your phone while it's open. So you've already opened it in order to use one of the apps. They want it open so they can go in and they can steal your data, they can steal your money, they can go into your accounts, they can take everything you've got. So don't be such an easy target. Not just are you distracted and you have no situational awareness while you're on your phone, but you're also a target and you're saying, "Hey, come and take this. You can have this. All you have to do is just smash me on the back of the head or punch me in the face or rip it out of my hand," because that's what's happening. So you're not safe anymore. Do something about it. Get off your phone when you're in public places. You do need to use your phone because you're using your app to see where you're going, the map, or you have to communicate with somebody. Put your back up against the wall and hold your phone in front of your face this way so that you can see the periphery. As soon as you go like this, you lose your peripheral vision. It shrinks in. You don't see what's coming at you anywhere, from the right, from the left, from the front. Your brain, your eyes are down here. You're completely not paying attention. You might as well just say, "Come beat me up, come take my phone, come take my stuff. I'm an easy target." So if you're in public and you're in an area where you need to pay attention, get off your phone, stick it in your pocket. So that's number one. The second thing is do some type of training. Today I was in the gym. The gym has a little punching bag since I don't have my martial arts school right now. And I use the bag to strike with. And as some of you know, I had my hip replaced recently. Then I had a heart attack after that because of the blood clot from the hip got into the heart. And I'm healthy, I'm fine, but I'm slowly getting back into the types of exercises that I like to do. I don't like to just go and push weights and use machines and walk on treadmills. I would rather get my heart rate up practicing self-defense so that I can beat somebody up in case they try to hurt me or my family. It's that simple. I want to be able to stop them with enough. I want to have enough speed and power left. And I recognize that as we age, we lose power. So you have to start thinking about what type of training is going to be the most effective. And as I'm punching the bag, and the bags they move a little bit. If you've got that bag swinging, you're hitting it wrong. You need to be able to punch it in a way that it stops moving. And you have three options when it comes to defending yourself when you don't have any tools for self-defense. So we're going to talk about tools a lot in this video in just a minute. But I want to talk about unarmed combat, hand-to-hand. All you have are your hands, your palms, your fists, your elbows, your knees, your forehead if you have to, headbutt them or whatever. So you're just defending yourself with what God gave you. Your natural, you have your right for self-defense that he gave you, and then you have however your body can still move. And one thing I'll say is that as we get older, we know we lose speed. So you have to think about distance. And if you give up a little bit of speed, but you can still generate a lot of power, which you can, you're going to shift to using closer strikes instead of distant strikes. When you're younger, when I was younger, especially when I fought with my feet and my hands, it was all about distance. And because I'm taller, I want to keep you as far away from me as possible. If you're good and you're not as tall, you want to be in as tight as possible. But either way, as you start to get older, you start to realize that you can generate a lot of power from here to here with a punch, and from here to here with an elbow strike. So we have closed fists that you can strike with. If you're afraid of damaging your fists, you can go to palm strikes, which are still very effective. You can knock somebody out with a well-delivered palm strike. Just be sure that you're using the proper part of the palm. You're going to use the heel of the palm, not necessarily inside. However, if you want to, you can take the palm and stick it on his face and shove his face back and dig your fingers into his eyes for self-defense. Ripping and pulling down, that's also effective. So you can do that. You can also use the edge of the hand as you're striking in. You can come into his throat and strike in this way. That's also effective. You can use the side, the open of part of the hand to bring it into the side of his face, like a hard palm strike or a slap to the side of his face. You can box his ears and pop his eardrums a little bit. So those are all things you can do with your palm strike. Your fists, you should keep them super simple. You know, we have three basic punches. We have straight punches, we have hooking punches, which are either done with the elbow up, or if you're using a different style, with the elbow down. And you can even come in with a closed fist, turning your shoulders and hips, using this part of your hand as your fist is squeezed very tightly against his jaw, against his temple, even into the neck. So this is effective. And then of course you have the uppercut. The uppercut is not this kind of motion, it's this kind of motion. So you're going to generate a maximum amount of power when you bend the knees a little bit and you turn, and see how when you're dropping, your whole body drops. Your hand doesn't drop below your fist or your face. You pull your hand down to punch them up here, you can get hit, you're wide open. But if you pull your body down and you come up here, you can generate that knockout power and maximum power. But if you don't want to focus on punches or palm strikes, again, those are both longer distance. He's farther away. And a lot of times, the longer the distance, the easier it is to miss somebody. Now, if you're younger and you practice a lot, or you're older and you still practice a lot, and you know how to strike, then go ahead and throw your palm strikes, throw your punches. If you're less experienced, focus on using elbows. You have this horizontal elbow. That's something that has to be done very close. So imagine he's in on top of you and you're no longer safe. You need to take some action. You need to do something about it. He's in your face. You told him to back up. You can bring that elbow in, across the side of the face, into the jaw, into the neck, into the temple. And that can drop a lot of people. That'll stop a lot of people. You can also pull it back behind you. I saw yesterday, a little girl, 11 years old, subway in New York, gets slashed by some random person with a box cutter. That's why I'm saying you aren't safe and we need to do something about it. We all need to wake up. We need to pay attention. We need to hold our elected officials accountable but we look at what's happening and it's just massive amounts of chaos and destruction happening all at once. So this is why I'm saying you take responsibility for your family, for yourself, and do something about it. Now, not everybody can concealed carry. I do, and everywhere I go. I took the kids yesterday to the water park. Can't carry it there. So in a non-permissive environment, that's when you have to think about what other tools you have. Everywhere I go, I carry this to open boxes and for self-defense. But I can't carry this into the water park. Not only is there no place to carry it on my body, but they check things and they don't want you to carry that. You can't take it into most amusement parks. You can't take it into, you certainly can't, I was in the courthouse recently, and we can't take it into the courthouse. You got to go through the metal detector. You can't take it to the airport. And I know some people will say, well, I don't go to any of those places. And that's fine. Good for you. But I'm saying if you do have to, if you are in a non-permissive environment, that's when you think about punches, palm strikes, and then elbows. Unless you also, let me finish that elbow idea real quick, because I wanted to show you that you can bring it this way. You're going to get most power if you bring your hand in closest to your chest. You're also going to get best range of motion. If your palm is facing down, you're going to hit here. If your hand is closed, it doesn't hit as hard as if your hand is open. That's from my experience. So if your hand, and there's a reason, your tendons lock and all that. So if you keep your hand open when you strike, I also like to think about punching here, grabbing here, and then striking this way. And that solves the problem with distance. If you know you hit him here, and you put your hand on him to brace and keep him from closing the distance and hitting you harder, your hand is here, and then you can bring this one in here. You can also bring this elbow straight up. You're going to find that when you do these elbows like this, these vertical elbow strikes, you're going to generate the most power. This is one of the hardest elbows you can hit with. It also can get that hand up in this position. So if you are getting hit, it's going to absorb the strikes coming into your head. You're also going to be protected. And if the bad guy, a lot of them do have a blade, then it's going to cut here as opposed to cutting here. Cutting here, I almost just cut myself. I carry very sharp. I sharpen my blade when I sharpen the kitchen blades probably once a month. So I like to keep it sharp. But you don't want to cut any of this stuff. You've got all of the soft tissue in there, the muscle, the tendons, the arteries, the veins, all that stuff can be cut easier here than if your hand is here. So by doing that elbow coming in straight, sticking his elbow straight into his face to smash him, to move him back, your question is, what can I remove or destroy? Because you're no longer safe and you want to do something about it, you should buy Tim Larkin's book or go to the library and check it out. We go to the library all the time. So I remember now, you can get everything for free. The price of a library card, which for us is zero, for most of us is zero, right? You go to the library, get your library card, get Tim Larkin's book, When Violence is the Answer. I put the link below. If you need to remember that name, go to the description. When Violence is the Answer. He talks about how to ask yourself the question, what can I remove or destroy? His ability to see temporarily, his ability to breathe temporarily or permanently, his ability to hurt you, to hit you, all those different things that you can remove with your elbow strikes coming this way, horizontally, vertically. You can bring it down at an angle, striking in here, into the body here, or you can bring it up also diagonally. You can bring it down diagonally, you can bring it up diagonally. Those are just some basic elbow strikes. My favorite is this turning, because as you turn that elbow, he's back here, you turn into him, he's too far back, just extend that fist and smash with a hard closed fist against his face, against his temple for self-defense. I'm going to move on. I want to talk about when you aren't safe, you're not safe anymore, so you better do something about it. Tools that you can carry in non-permissive environments. Now, the first thing that I'm going to show you is your everyday walking cane. And this is going to be my favorite option for so many reasons. I want to show you some other options too. And we're going to come back to why this is my absolute favorite option. Now, the first thing is the smallest one. That's a palm stick of Yawara. I make these, or you can make it yourself. You just get a dowel rod and you carve it any way you want, or you can keep it square. That works too. And then you sand it down, you oil it up, and now you have a loaded weight in your fist. So when you do punch, you hit with so much more force because your hand is not compressing. So a loaded weight for self-defense while you're punching. You can also bring it down on top, striking different nerves, striking into the face, striking into the nose for self-defense, stick it in his eye for self-defense, stick it in his ear for self-defense. That all is very effective. He could be behind you. You had that elbow, you missed him, you extend now and you smash him with the tip of your pocket stick. But depending on where you go, they might say, I've never had anybody question me of this. I just tell them it's a self-defense or a massage tool that I use it to roll out the fascia in the muscle and then do the pressure points in the belly of the muscle to make it release. And I've never had to explain it. They never even take it out of my bag when they x-ray the bag. So this is just a simple pocket stick, palm stick, Yawara, all the different names that people call them. And it's just again, a loaded weight in your fist. You can use a pin. You can use one of those markers, like a dry erase board marker, an expo marker, really effective holding it in your fist. You can hold a roll of quarters, all for self-defense. Also permissive environments for most of them. I carry this rolling pin. It's also known as a tanbo in Okinawan or Japanese martial arts. You can put your hand around it. Koreans will put a hole here and put a strap there that goes around your thumb, and it goes this way. And it's called the dangbong in Korean. It's a little bit shorter. They whip it out and smash it. Law enforcement sometimes carries it. It's really effective. You can use it jabbing here, smashing here, come up under the chin. You can use the long part, smash against his face, it hurt, bring it up under his chin again, and you can jab with it. You can change your grip so the long part comes out of your thumb, and you can use it like a club. You have all the basic strikes. You can put two hands on it. You can smash him back this way. You can box his ears with it. You can take two hands, stick it in, and smash it into his throat for self-defense, or his face, into his stomach. You can bring it down into his groin. You can turn and hit him with it. And it's just a simple stick. And again, you might be able to carry this on the subway. You might put it in your backpack or a bag, a purse. And then if someone were to pull it out and say, "What's that?" And you say, "Oh, it's for a woodworking project," or it's for the house. I need a dowel rod to fix something in the closet. I have nice closets there. Or it's a massage tool, or it's, I like to cook, I like to bake. I just picked this up at the Asian bakery, the Asian food store, and I'm taking it home because it goes in the kitchen. And every once in a while, somebody might say, "No, that's a stick you can hit somebody with." I don't think you can get this onto the plane, but you can probably get it into the subway. You could get it into a lot of their places that they might check your bag, but they're just going to, because they're not familiar with it, they're just going to let it go, or they might see it as a threat. But again, it's just a simple dowel rod, or I make these. I put the link below to all these things in the description if you want to see what they are. So back to my favorite self-defense tool. We call this the gray man option, gray woman option, because you carry this anywhere you go. The Americans with Disabilities Act says that a walking cane, especially the one with the crook, can be taken everywhere. I've also seen the derby style go through the airport. I've also seen just straight walking sticks go through the airport, and they put it on the TSA conveyor belt, comes out, they give the person another cane to walk through the metal detector with, or they have him stand there with his hands up like this. You guys know the drill if you've flown recently. And then they come out the other side, and then he hands him his cane back. And it can be made out of wood, it can be made out of metal. These canes for self-defense can be used very effectively. You bend the knees, you come straight up, and then you strike him in the face with it. For self-defense, getting too close, smashing his teeth, smashing his nose, into his throat for self-defense. You can put it in the other hand quickly, smashing, chopping. This nasty tooth there, that beveled edge, will remove his eye or pull the nose straight off his face, rip the teeth out of his mouth for self-defense. And I say this because you're not safe anymore. You got to do something about it. You see all of these attacks, and I saw the story of a guy, 19 years old, and I think it was Cleveland, and they interviewed his victims. And the victims were all saying the same thing. "This guy attacked me out of nowhere. There was no reason for it. He just jumped on my back and started punching me in the face." Another guy, he came up and smashed him in the back, jumped on him, knocked him to the ground, started punching him in the back of the head. And every single one of them were saying the same thing. "Why is this guy still in the street?" And they had his rap sheet or whatever, his arrest record. And he would do that. He would get arrested, go see the judge. The judge would push him out the door and say, essentially, "Go do it again." So you're not safe anymore, and you need to do something about it. Like I said, we can wait, and we can we have to try to speak up to our politicians and say, we're fed up. We don't want any more of these rules and these policies where you're letting these criminals just walk among us and beat us to the ground for a whim. Or like that poor little girl just gets slashed, 11 years old girl, just slashed for no reason on the subway. And there is a reason. The reason is the criminals. And then they interviewed the subway workers. And the subway workers are like, there's defecation everywhere. They urinate. There are drug addicts everywhere. There are criminally insane people everywhere. It's not safe. You can't come here. And I mean, and you could say, well, that's an extreme example, but it's not. You hear that story repeated over in different versions of it over and over and over and over again, which makes me think you're not safe anymore. We got to do something about it. So paying attention, situation awareness. Number 2, develop a posture of self-defense. Just say to yourself, I'm going to have to defend myself. And then learn how to fight with your hands, your elbows. If you're older and your punches don't make sense, your hands hurt, you've got a lot of arthritis, learn how to fight with the elbows. Learn how to fight with a walking cane. You might not have the ability to do punches with elbows and palm strikes and all that. You can put your cane between you and him, and then you can thrust. You can strike these basic angles coming across horizontally, down vertically, over the top of his head for self-defense. You can put the other hand on it. You can push him back. You can punch. Now your hands are together. You have a lot more leverage. You can come in with like a bayonet or a rifle butt strike. The other side, bayonet attack. You can strike to his legs. You might have that knife. You can smash his hand. You can reach out, grab back of his head, pull him in. The other elbow, if you can't do that elbow, or maybe you can strike to the legs. But you have reach advantage when you have a walking cane. I mean, there's my knife. It's not the biggest knife in the world, but it's also not the smallest. And like I said, it's extremely sharp. If somebody's coming at me with a knife and I don't have anything, even if I had a knife, I don't want to go knife to knife. If I had a big stick made out of oak or hickory, you can go to the Cane Masters website in the description below and see how you can have these made. This is the least expensive option. It's not that expensive. You can go super fancy and have them make it real pretty for you with lots of nasty self-defense features on it. Or you can keep it simple. You just grab a simple walking cane from the next time you go to the pharmacy or whatever. And then you have that reach option. You can push them back. You can do all those strikes, put 2 hands on it, and now you're a lot more powerful. You can thrust with 2 hands. You can turn it around. This is like a big fist. You can put that fist through his face. You can chop. Now it's like a fireman's axe, chopping down a door, bringing that into his face, into his neck, into his arm. You can turn it around, strike. It's heavier here because there's more material because of the bend on this side, more material here than there is over here. So that hits a lot harder. You can learn how to spin. Now you're not spinning to try to keep him back. The spin is really simple. You start here on the ground, you whip it up here, smash him between his legs, or maybe hit that hand as he's coming forward, hit him under the jaw, and then bam, you turn your wrist. It's a simple move. And you don't have to be strong to do this. You don't have to be fast to do this. You lift and then turn. Lift and turn. You can practice, and the more you practice, the faster you can get. And then you can bring it across and back like a windshield wiper. Using this to smash coming through. The more you practice, the faster you'll get. But the point is, it's not safe anymore. Do something about it. You can do a lot with a simple self-defense walking cane. I want to show you can also add a resistance band. And with the resistance band, I like to whip that around the back. You put the cane in front of your chest and you put the resistance band on the back. Don't worry if it's all bent up. Well, it might not be comfortable. I don't really care. I do what's practical and what works. This is like a standing push-up. Some people will put it under their arms. I always like it over my arms. Some people prefer this. You can do standing push-ups. You can push down. You can push up, hitting the different parts of your chest. You can work on that extension, which is that tricep muscle in the back of your upper arm. And this isn't for, beach-looking muscles. This is for self-defense. You put it on your forehead, and then you extend. Just pushing forward this way. And it's no exaggeration when I say it's like a full gym workout for like, I don't know, these things are less than $20. Oh, start with one that's not super wide. I have the wide ones. I can barely move them. They make them skinnier too. Skinny is good. But if you go really wide, then it's, too wide. All right. Garrett says he is a new student at Tiger Kim's Taekwondo in North Carolina. Terrence Evans is a master in one of Tiger King. I think he has 2 Tiger King schools now. I don't know. Do you know Terrence? But you can do curls this way. But congratulations, Garrett. That's a smart move. Garrett's doing something about it, taking some self-defense. Yeah, Confusio says any exercise is good for you. Alex says good advice. Thank you. Yoy Gaming asks, what do I think about capoeira? Long before I had my hips replaced, or this hip so far, when I was younger and I could still do a lot of moves. I love handstands, cartwheels, butterfly kicks, and capoeira has a lot of kicks like albatito, all the broken, all the upside down kicks. Capoeira is amazing for your fitness. Capoeira will teach you some really good kicks. It's very dancey. It's a really cool martial art to learn. It's a Brazilian martial art. It's either capoeira or Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I'd say learn both. That way, the capoeira is going to make your entire body like rock strong, solid. And then you're going to develop hard kicks and punches. And it's fun. Capoeira for self-defense, that's a great idea. I say go for it. Lita Bow Angel, good to see you. Garen, good to see you. Philly Fathead says amen. Thank you, Philly. David. Says don't be the victim. David says don't be the victim. Amen. Do something about it, right? Whether it's, and the reason I'm showing you the exercise is not as a workout video. It's so that you can do something. Don't be a victim. You're not safe anymore. Do something about it. Get in shape. And you don't have to get in like incredible shape overnight. Just do a little bit. I like the cane because you can put it in front of your body. And especially when my hips were really bad, this hip especially. And then after the surgery and I started to recover, I would do this to take the weight off of my legs so that I can do squats and start to reconnect with my fitness. Put it in one hand. Now you can do lunges. You can do spinning with the cane, and you should do the spinning so that you can build your cardiovascular fitness. The faster you go, the higher your heart rate. Just pull your stomach up and in, get your chin tucked, get your other hand up. Always get your other hand up. Just practice keeping that hand up. You might have to get your helmet on or answer your phone. So he swings at your head, let him run into your arm. And then your elbows here, step forward and smash him with it. Bringing that across the body and back. I always describe this when you're here working with me in person. It's a slap against the face, slap across his face for self-defense, and a back fist, a backhand coming on the other side. Just that basic figure 8. Spinning your cane teaches you timing and distance, spatial awareness, proprioception. Get your heart rate up. Will add muscle to your body, tighten what you've got. You can do this standing or sitting. You might be confined to a wheelchair. You can do this sitting in your chair. You can sit it at the edge of the bed. You just adjust where you swing it. And then when you need to, you can also bring it over here. That's a little bit more advanced, but you can play around with it, throw it in the other hand, spin it. The spinning will build callus on your hands so that when you need to pop it up like this and smash and fight for self-defense, bring it through. He's coming in tight. Maybe you're in a hallway, you're stepping onto the train, you're stepping off the bus. He pushes you back, you got to bend and then smash here. And then you fight close quarters battle for yourself with your self-defense game. You can because you've trained all that. But practice the spinning. Key to the spinning, for those of you who haven't spun the cane, make sure the long side comes out of your palm. You can hear it gets my heart rate up, which is what I want. I want to lean out for fitness. I want to challenge myself, get a little bit stronger every day because you're not as safe as you used to be and you need to do something about it. And that includes personal fitness, training, taking a posture, self-defense, situational awareness. Situational awareness starts with the phone, which is funny that we would start with a phone because, 30 years ago, no one's walking around with a phone. But now everybody, even the old people, I started us off by saying, I watch these parents. I also watch grandparents come flying by, little kids, and they're like this. They're stuck in the phone. They don't know what's going on. And if you're out walking around like that, It's bad enough that people are driving like that, but if you're, if you are on the subway, not only are you advertising, come take my phone and rip it away from me, and if I fight you, please punch me in my head. That's what you're saying. But you're also saying, I'm not paying attention, so you might as well. I'm an easy target. So don't be an easy target. Get rid of your phone. Pay attention. Look and start to think, where am I going to, how do I get out of here? Where's the exit that everybody's going to go to? And is there another exit that maybe I can get to faster and get out of here faster, so I'm not stuck in that cattle, everybody's pushed together, and then you become a statistic because you got stampled, whatever the words are, as you're trying to get out. You went out the window, you went out the side door, you went out the back door. Everybody else is stuck in the funnel where the bad guys are. And pay attention to that kind of stuff. Where could you, if there is a shooting, there's concealment and there's cover. Understand the difference. Concealment is when you hide behind something, but the bullets can come through. Cover is when you can hide behind a thick wall that's made out of brick or stone or steel, and not only do they not see you, but they also can't shoot you through it. Learn, while you're there, make a plan. Take that deep breath. Learn how to breathe and calm your mind. I say this all the time. Don't slow down, calm down. Learn the difference between slowing down, and a lot of people want everything to slow down so they become comfortable again. Well, in self-defense, you don't have that option. You go too slowly, you're going to get smashed in your teeth. So learn how to get your hands up, take a deep breath, ask yourself, what can I remove or destroy? Again, that's from Tim Larkin's book, When Violence is the Answer. I put the link below. Buy it or get it from the library or download it and listen to it. But read that book. That's like the Bible for self-defense. And then get some skills. Get some hand-to-hand skills, some knee-to-face skills, some forehead to their face, you smashing. If that's your thing. If you don't want to fight like that because it doesn't make sense to you anymore, learn how to fight with tools for self-defense. You got long tools. This is my favorite because Americans with Disability Access, you can take anywhere and everywhere you go in the United States. And then in Europe, there are laws that are very similar. And Australia, and New Zealand, and most of the developed nations. Go to the third world, they probably don't care, right? They're not going to stop you anyway. They got bigger problems to deal with. And then, there are some tools that are questionable. Can you take this? This is great for a loaded fist. You can smash them in the face, jab them with it. You can hit them with this stick. But these don't go everywhere that this goes. That's why I like this. An alternative to this is an unbreakable umbrella. There's one for like less than 50 bucks. I put a link to that below on Amazon. And it's going to do almost the same thing. It doesn't have the crook, obviously, but it's the same length, about 36 inches. And you have that reach advantage. You can knock somebody back. You can swing it. You can keep them at a distance, or if they get really close, you can go close quarters, hand-to-hand combat, like you're fighting with a rifle in one of the battles. I don't know which battle had the best hand-to-hand. All the battles that are rushing, the names rushing into my head. That would be, those of you military buffs, war buffs, and history buffs, think of the best battles where they ran out of bullets. They had to fix bayonets. The bayonets broke, and then they were doing hand-to-hand fighting with a rifle. Put that in the comment section below, or whatever you want in the comment section. This is a community, and I appreciate you guys being here. I'll see you in a little bit. Thank you.